Miracles happen.
Miracles happen. I'm so sorry. They do happen.
Yeah.
And let's say hello to everybody. We got Charlie.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Charlie. Suzanne, Linda, Christina, Terry Angel, and Stacy. So how's everybody enjoying the book? Anybody have anything they want to share?
Well,
Linda, go ahead.
I thought it was a book of interesting stories, and I have always thought about doing it. I haven't done it, but I just thought it would be, you'd learn more and it would be interesting, but the healing powers of it are tremendous. And I frankly wasn't looking at it from that viewpoint until I, got into it and started reading. But it's, explains so many things. And now I'd really like to do it for several reasons. I've always had claustrophobia. I've never wanted anything around my neck. I can't even wear a turtleneck. It's so it would be interesting to do. And I really like the stories, and I like the way they're told from the person that it happened to, not just him saying how it was. So that's my 2 cents.
Linda, have you felt healing within yourself from reading the stories, or do you think it'll happen when you do the soul journey?
Can't say I've felt any healing yet. I feel more peaceful just knowing it's there, I guess. I do definitely feel something after I read it, but I'm ready to go through that experience. I just was kind of I believed it, but it was like hesitant before.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can chime into that too. I mean, I enjoy the stories, and it opens so much hope, because man, there's so much you can learn and see with all those examples. And I actually went a step further. I downloaded, you can get on Hay House his regression meditation. I downloaded it. You can go online. So I want to try that by myself, guided by him, his guided, what do we call it, Terry? Soul journey?
Yes, I'm calling it a soul journey because I just have a real issue saying past life.
Yes.
It's not past. It's it's still
I'm looking
happening.
forward to doing that. I didn't dare yet because I'm like, oh, that's a big deal, especially alone. But that goes with this book here. And I'm really excited. I mean, it is hard. Like, I read the stories, and if you would ask me any concrete example, I can't even tell you, because I should highlight and take notes. I haven't. I just enjoyed the stories thoroughly. So I love the book. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, I love it too. The freedom from emotional pain, like, you really bring a lot of stuff with you through your journey, and it's just so wild about how you can heal that, like Linda was saying, just by not reliving it, but going back and learning that whatever you've been through that causes that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. I was reading, I don't even know what chapter it was, but it was where they were talking about after you recognize yourself in a different life form, like body, that you can do research and find that person, maybe. And I have had that experience. Before I read this book, I didn't know that any of that was in the book. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a regression, and I saw myself. I saw the whole experience. I went through what I was dressed like, and then I got my name because somebody called out my name. And so after that was over, I'm thinking, okay, that would be interesting to find that person. So I Googled that name and that time frame, and I found the whole thing. What had happened, it was during the Roaring 20s era, and the person that I was shot, and that was all documented. And I'm like, wow. And it was the name that was called out to me during that regression. It was amazing. And that's what fully sold me. I've been aware of and working with past life regressions, which I now call soul journeys. But I've been working with that since the early 80s. My boss, who was a psychiatrist, worked with Brian Weiss. And so she introduced me to the way to do the regressions. And I've done so many of them throughout the years, but that one is one that really stuck out for me. And it was on myself where I got to that name. Sometimes we don't get to the name of the person that we were, but many times if we really dig enough, we'll get it. And that's what I try to do when I do those regressions is get as much information as possible while you're under. Because I don't take you into a deep trance. You're in more of a state where you recognize and you can talk. And anybody that's done one with me, you'll know what it's like because you have full control and you have at any time the ability to stop it and say, I don't want to look at it anymore. But I just wanted to share that because I was reading in the book, it's like somebody had found themselves in that experience in that lifetime. And I thought, oh, I did that. And I want to find my notes. I don't know where they're at the moment. I can't put my fingers on them, but I documented all of it in my journal and put everything in writing that I have been through.
That would be neat to go back and read again. What I like about it is it's not, when you think about doing it, it seems so scary, but once you've experienced it and you realize you're in control, that you can stop the whole thing, like you said, immediately if you want to. But in that light trance, you can really see and visualize and feel. It's an amazing experience. I feel, well, I was told that my husband and I had another life together. And the evening that we met, we were in a dance club and we walked past each other and I heard the words, "This is your husband."
Mm-hmm.
And we've been together every day since 26 years later. So
Right.
that's pretty neat. I think Mary Lou came in. Hi.
Mary Lou joined us.
I'm sorry I was late.
I feel like singing that song, "Hello, Mary Lou." My heart. I love that.
I've heard it many times from people. I like it. I like it that it's a
Yeah.
nice positive one.
Yeah.
I bet you have. And we have a lot of people on, Stacy. I don't think you're seeing the comments, but we have Robert Dosa, we have Rick Moon, Hope Wellington Marshall, and Isabel Reese are all tuned in to us and listening to the book today.
I forgot to sign in on my phone. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing any of it.
That's okay. We're live on 3 different places on Facebook and also on YouTube, and I get all of that feed coming in with the comments.
I'll remember next time. So, did anybody read the first book? Because this kind of plays off on his first book, the Many Lives,
Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah, I did.
Didn't you?
It's been a
Did you,
while.
Linda? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Sorry,
I'm
Linda.
actually listening to it right now because it is on YouTube. So it's easy to get a hold of, and I was intrigued after reading some of the stories in this current book that we're doing. So I was like, you know what? I can turn that on while I'm doing something and listen to the other book, and because it really is intriguing after reading some of other people's experiences. I'm trying to go into it without really any expectations or kind of, what is this about? I'm just going in there completely blindly. And if nothing else, these stories, there's many of them, if not all of them, that I can do some kind of comparison with. And kind of apply to my own life. Instances in my own life, whether past or present, I'll go, oh yeah, I had something rings with them. And so that's what I've been taking from this book. But yes, I have been listening now because it really did intrigue me. What would that look like? Because he talks about it and, oh, we're at a retreat and we did this, that, and the other thing, but it gives you a more well-rounded outlook on what some of those things look like his meditations and his like everything that he did on Oprah is available in video form. So you can go back and see the clips of when he first appeared back on Oprah and stuff like that. So I've just been kind of very intrigued, enough interest that I've looked into other things with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like every story, like one of them has to relate with all of us, somewhere, because we all have a fear of something or a phobia that bothers us, and it came from somewhere, so it's like, yeah, the stories are, and even like the guy didn't even want to go there, and he just went there for the credits, and then he found out, like, oh my God, and now he's, true believer, like that, oh my God, that this stuff really happened, in past lives and stuff. So,
It would be awesome to go to a retreat like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Spend like a whole weekend.
I bet you it's expensive. I was wondering how much his 5-day things are. I'm like, I would be so there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe
But I mean, I like it's not just somebody telling stuff. Those are testimonials from people, so they're believable. And that's what intrigues me about this. It's all those different people that attest to it. It's not like he made it all up, and I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. When I first heard of Dr. Brian Weiss, I was living in South Florida, and I had gotten in with a group of like-minded people, and a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to she did past life regression, and so she asked me if I wanted to try it, and I'm like, sure, so I did. And then right after that, I found out about him, and he's originally, I think, from Miami is where his office was originally, in Miami.
That's where he is now, too.
Yeah, so it's all like, how when you discover something, then the universe sends you this and that, and it's pretty neat.
As a person who's never experienced anything like this, or even thought about experiencing anything like this, because I'm very secure in the beliefs that I was raised with. I'm not afraid to experience this, or hesitant even to try it, because that's my nature anyway, is I like to always be open and learn new things. But in reading it, I wrote some things down that are very much according to what my beliefs are. It's not against anything other than the main focus that I was born as a unique person, and that there's no one other that is like me. I like knowing that and believing that, and that one day I will come to my completion, in the arms of God. Once I see the face of God, then that will be my completion. And, and what he's talking about is a very different path to do that than what I've always understood it. However, the journey itself has many similarities, like to have I'm going to read from my notes. Is that okay? Like to have an open mind to truth, and that we are immortal and eternal beings, that we learn lessons as we go of love and compassion and understanding. And in doing that, we will experience contentment peace, patience, generosity, and that, let's see, and therefore it will lead us to behave and think like spiritual beings that we are, that we're not here just in this world for being here in the world. We're here for that eternal experience, that immortal, and that when we have sorrow or worry or fear, it's a good thing to seek out emotional healing. And I think the closest that I've ever come to this regression experience is what was called healing of memories. And and you went into that place within yourself with guidance from other people, who loved you through it, with their words and their compassion, and it was up to your mind, to go wherever it was going to go. You really didn't say, well, today I'm going to think about this. You just asked them to lay their hands on you and pray with you, and we went to this holy sacred place within ourselves that reminded us of perhaps a painful experience, but it was in this life. It wasn't in a past life. And it was, for me, I remembered that experience, and the healing came because the person that was guiding me as a lover of Jesus, said, now picture Jesus, right? And you've done that, Terry. You've said, choose who it is that you want with you, and many times you say Jesus or your guardian angel, or any one of our beautiful angels that I'm learning about, and knowing that somebody who knew how to love in a way that I can't even imagine yet, that they were there loving me through that negative experience, whatever it was, then it allowed me to not be frightened from it anymore. It gave me that sense of, I wasn't really alone, and I wasn't feeling that by myself. And it gave me a purpose to that pain, that I could carry with me. And I think that's what I'm reading, what Dr. Weiss is saying to us as well, except he's taking it to that other experiential place of another lifetime. Is that how you read it too?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Very nice.
Yeah, I feel.
And my favorite story that I read so far was when the monk was carrying the woman across, and the other monk, and I've experienced this so many times where you try to be helpful in life, and there's always that one person that's like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? It's against the law. It's against the rules. You're not supposed to. And I loved the response of that monk saying, you're carrying that person now. You're not supposed to, I guess they weren't supposed to touch a woman, or even to help them across the river. And and the other monk was reprimanding him for that. And I liked it that he put that ball right back in the other monk's court. And he said, I helped her, and now you're holding her, you're carrying her. I think that was a very important thing for me to remember, in life, that, we can help each other, even when it's not something, other people approve of. We can still be willing to take that extra ride across the river, touching somebody.
that was in the Course of Miracles too. So that's the second time you read it, Deej.
Yep.
The same story. Yeah.
That story a lot.
Yeah.
It's like the monk says to him, I put her down a long time ago. You're still parenting her.
Yeah,
right.
And we do that in life, Mary Lou. We absolutely do. We're like, just keep that revved up inside of us and refuse to let go of it. And that only hurts us.
Right.
You're not hurting anybody but yourself by holding on to it.
I wanted to share too. I have done a soul journey with Terry, and she kept seeing a little girl. Well, I saw the little girl too, but I wasn't sure what I was seeing and she was seeing, but it turned out that I believe it was me as a little girl, and there were things that needed to be healed. So it was very interesting.
I know Suzanne has voiced this opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is called the Soul Food Book Club, and it would be so interesting after I've done it by myself to have this experience with another person here to see if we lived a life together, because you meet those people and you just instantly know them or feel like you've known them forever. So it would be really interesting to do a soul journey with another person.
How about with a group?
Or as a group. Yes.
Yeah.
I would facilitate that if you all wanted.
That would be fun.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. That would be a hoot.
Yeah.
who?
A hoop.
That's a country word.
Well, I'm going to go for my first one, but I can tell that I'm going to want more than one, and I'm getting this one done here. Number one, she's local, and so I'm trying to help out my local people too, as far as booking things. But I just have this sneaking suspicion that I'm going to want more than one, because that seems to be the consensus when I talk to anyone who's had it done, is that they've had more than one. And so I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to get my teeth kind of sunk into this first one and see what it's all about.
You just
but I
put
don't know.
your
I'm leaving myself totally open. I definitely do not want to make any assumptions, because if there's one thing about this book, it's that anything goes. I have no idea what's going to appear. So, and I'm good with that. That's part of the fun. But I've always been one of those people that even as a kid, I never tried to sneak into my Christmas presents. I enjoy the surprise. I mean, that part of it gives me the giggles sometimes. I get giggly about the anticipation with the whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to it, and with an open mind for anything.
Good.
You're just sticking your feet in the water.
That's all she's doing.
Yeah, a few years ago, I was going weekly. There was a guy that had studied with Brian Weiss in Miami, and he was leading us every week into an experience. So I was doing it every week, the soul journey, and very interesting how everything comes out, and you go into a different life, or you go into the same one that you did the week before. Sometimes it's interesting how it all comes about, just wherever your journey leads you, that's what will happen. So I'm more than willing to do that for the group, and let's see how often we want to do it.
Can you ask? Sorry. Can you ask to go to a certain time? Sorry, Charlie.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can set that intention before you go under, Linda, because you go under a light trance. I mean, Stacy, it wasn't deep at all what I take you into. It's a very light trance state, just so that you're so relaxed that you're not focused on all the stuff that's going on around you, and you can totally get into what you're seeing. But yeah, you can set your intention, and I'd like for you to do that, even to set your intention before you go in of why you want to do this and what you want to bring back from it, from that experience.
Yes.
I do suggest, though, that you find a space that's quiet and you're not going to be interrupted. Because coming out of that trance quickly is no fun.
That's what happened to me last time when I was having panic attacks. So, but
so hard. It's so hard with the dogs. I'm gonna need a hotel room or so.
Really loud AirPods. I got to keep muting you guys. I'm sorry. We've got construction going on, so when it gets real loud, I just put it on mute. I had a question. So everybody is really wanting to try this, I believe, and is excited about it. Is there anything that is kind of would keep you from doing it? I wouldn't want to use the word fear, but anything that is would concern you about doing it, that you don't want to know something? For me, I didn't want to know, but go ahead, Terry.
Because there's a comment on that from the audience. So thank you, Stacy, for bringing that up. It's Grace Isis, and she says, how much should we know about our spiritual life or lives, and would it become addictive, wanting to know and staying in the realm? So I don't know if addictive is the right word. I think the more we experience, the more we do want to know what else is there. What else can I learn? My whole philosophy about doing it in the first place, well, the first time you're going to get over the curiosity. It's like, oh, I want to see what it's like, kind of what Christina's going through. I want to see what it's like, right? But then after that, when you see how much you can gain from that experience and bringing any energy into your current life that maybe happened in that lifetime and still is unresolved, or something happened, like, I don't know who it was that mentioned about the choking and not able to wear a turtleneck. Was that you, Linda? Yeah. So things like that maybe happened in another existence, and now it's kind of, I call it bleeding over into the current lifetime. You understand things a little bit better, and you can heal from that, from the phobias. People are healed from phobias by doing a life regression where they can see other lifetimes where that was happening with them. And I've had clients that's happened to. They had some real issues going on in this existence, and finding out about things that happened in another dimensional existence. Wow, it was powerfully healing for them. So I don't know that I would call it an addiction. I think it's just more, how much healing do you want to do? How much do you want to get rid of that's holding you down in this lifetime? Mm-hmm. That if you had the power and you have the knowledge, you can go in and do that clearing of it.
That makes me wonder. I never thought about that, but my fear of heights. I'm so scared of heights, and now I just avoid them. But maybe that comes from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, there's so many. I would like to know everything. Mm-hmm. I would think, wouldn't you want to know every lifetime if you could? Who you are and where you've been, and
And even if it wasn't another lifetime, like what Terry says, it's just another time or another dimension, another lifeline, whatever it is, to face that and move forward. I think that's the thing with no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it, if you're making forward movement instead of getting stuck where you are, then it's really not an addiction. You know what I mean? As long as you're continuing on to improve and move forward in your own being. I don't care where it comes from, I guess is what I don't know if it's a regressed memory. Because I've seen different viewpoints on this whole thing throughout the years. And I guess for me, it's like, if I'm going to work with this particular vibration and how it gets done, the different techniques and stuff, why not just take it? I don't really need to question necessarily the origin, but more what the problem is that I need to focus on, and how can I move forward from that.
I agree. I feel the same way. The more you know where you can help yourself, the better. Just like
another tool.
Yeah, another tool, like the books we read and everything. It's just an experience that is, that would help us. So I love it. I love the idea of it.
Such a sacred place to go to. I know from doing the healing of memories that it's a very, very sacred thing.
It is a
It really is. And I always treat it that way. I don't go into anything lightly when I take people into a soul experience. Kathy had a comment. I guess I'm afraid I will invest in this and find out that I never had another existence other than the one I'm in right now. Yeah, well, I think one thing that is essential, you have to have an open mind. You have to go into it without that expectation of what might be there. It's just like in life. If we start projecting what ifs into the future, then we're going to live in a world of anxiety and fear. And just opening up and saying, okay, let me just go explore, like, you're exploring an unknown, and just go into it with an open mind and see what comes out. And maybe you'll have that experience where it's like, oh, I'm not getting anything. That's okay too. And just whatever the journey is, just let it be, however it turns out. And I love, and Stacy is the one that suggested that I call it soul journey, because I was having a real issue with that past word. It's like, no, it's still happening. Time is only a human thing. It's not a soul thing.
Yeah, and that takes me to a question as well. So we all have heard old soul. He's an old soul. She's an old soul. Oh, and then there's the young souls. So where does that leave us in the conversation? What's everybody's opinion on old souls, new souls? You can tell somebody who's had many, many lives just by looking in their eyes. But then there are the souls that maybe haven't had so many journeys, So what does everybody think about that? It just popped into my head.
I'm wondering if Dr. Weiss addresses that question. For me personally, I've done a lot of regressions over the last 20 years. So I have had people that just go into one life and that's it. So I think I'm like you. I think there are people that are new to the human experience. They may have had another existence, but not as a human being. So I think that's where you would look at it and say, well, they may be a new soul, but new to this 3D energy, this heavy existence that we choose to come to. They may have been on another planet. They may have been another energy form. And I don't even know how I feel yet about incarnating between forms. I haven't really explored that enough to talk about that even. But I'm just wondering if Dr. Weiss addresses that at some point, either in this book or one of his other books, and what you all feel about it. Anybody else in the group?
I think about how I felt the first time I was willing to meditate, because that wasn't a traditional experience religiously for me. I was more rote prayer, communal prayer with others. And that was the first time I think that I learned to be in touch with that spirit within myself. And then I remember going to a retreat experience where it was a progressive priest that was guiding us through, leading us. And he was a world traveler and had been to Belgium. And he was the first person who taught me, when you pray, don't pray for just your immediate family or your own problems and your own issues. Pray for a world vision, that we live in a world. And it was really the first time anybody brought me to that place of thinking of a global, oneness, and now I feel like with this group, I'm learning another dimension, that it's not just the human, I've had friends of mine say, one friend of mine said to me, what do you think would when Jesus returns again, what if he's a Martian? And I think she was just, pushing my buttons. It was probably 5 years ago, and my first response to her was, I wouldn't have a problem with that. He's all things to all people, and so if I believe that, I'm an open-minded enough of a person, to go to another testing place. I guess this would be a testing place for me. It's not something I've ever done. Even yoga, some of the women from our church, think yoga is anti-Christian, and it's no such thing. It's no such thing, and it's really old school thinking. They think Reiki is not okay. And I'm like, but have you ever had anybody put their hand on you or above you and experience the beauty of that? Then I don't think you'd say it's anti-Christian, because Christianity is about love and healing and mercy and goodness, at least mine is. And so I don't, I think people maybe for years and years in Catholicism and Christianity, we were taught to hold our own, and not be open and not grow, and I don't know what the purposes to all that was. I don't know if it was intentional to keep you more closed-minded. I know there's been people that accuse that, of an institutional church, but I don't think that was their purpose. I don't want to believe that, I guess, but I do think that it's a healthy thing to be open to new things. And that's what he taught me if you're afraid of meditation, if you're afraid of, Reiki, then you bring your God into that experience with you. And that prevents any, and Terry, many times when you've worked with us, you say, I invoke Angel Michael to come and, be the guardian of us and the protector of us. And, and you say, and if it's Jesus that you want, bring, so that's nothing against any of the teachings that I hold dear.
Thank you.
So.
It's all who your divine one is, could be Buddha, could be whoever you it's there's all sorts of religions, and we're just spiritual creatures.
There's many paths to get there, right?
Yeah,
we're all just talking to each other on a spiritual level, which is much different than a religious level. The spiritual, we're finding commonality between all of our thoughts, and that commonality, as long as it's something like love, is always a safe place to go. I mean, I have yet to run across anyone that I would consider spiritual who doesn't believe that love is where their divine rests, is in love and of love, and to forward the love.
Also, we all have special skills or talents, whether we have found out about them yet or not. I've been taught Reiki and have been told I do it very well. And to me, that's a God-given talent that I could receive the teaching, and I was open to the teaching, and it's angels working through me when I do an activity like that. So to me, it's not against a religion or God, it's God working through me, or angels working through me to share everything he stands for. So I don't see it as a difference. I see it as an extension, I guess, of God's love.
Absolutely. We're all created in his likeness, is what we're told. So we're all grand.
That's right. It's a question from Grace Isis. She says, what about the Akashic Records and the meditative journey we did with you, Terry? Is there a parallel between this, and does it make sense? Absolutely. Everything from our soul record is in those Akashic Records. So it's not just this current lifetime in this dimension that is in there. It's all of our soul's journey. So it absolutely does come hand in hand. And when I take you into a regression, you give your permission for those Akashic records to be open so that any information can come forward to you during your regress time. So thank you for asking about that, Grace.
Has anybody else had the experience like you're somewhere and you know you've been here before and it's taking you back to, if I see big white pillars, I feel like I'm at home. It's the most amazing thing, like Greece. Like I feel at home when I see that type of thing, and I can feel and smell things. It's a strange but awesome feeling, you know.
Yeah, that was me, Stacy, with before I knew that I had an existence in the roaring 20s. I was so drawn to that era. I was so drawn to the dresses, especially, and just the whole feel of that era, the music. I loved everything about it. And then I found out that, I was there, and that was why it felt like home. It felt so good to be in that energy.
It's actually interesting because that just, Stacy, gave me a whole new thought. Because I always thought, okay, a dream or a vision or whatever, but I never really took into account that feeling at home feeling, which I think I encountered a bunch of times. I just never paid attention to it. So now I can't give you an example, but I can relate to that. So I'm gonna think about that.
I also get that with places. Like there's places in Maine where I go and it's like the real me. It's like my soul open. And it is such a wonderful feeling. So, is that because I've lived there before in another life, or just I'm in tune with it? I don't know, but it feels good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling to just feel like you're home finally.
Yeah, like Mount Shasta.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be there and see what I experienced, just going into the energy of it. Because I feel like I've been there, but I have not in this current 3D life. But I know that I have been on that mountain before.
Yeah.
Does
And
anybody?
you may have somebody there that you've known before.
Oh, that's a thought. This is all like boom, boom, boom. One thought after another. I'm going to need a nap after this.
Me too.
My mind is
in on that one.
I love this group because we have different thoughts and stuff, but we can share everything and be open-minded and non-judgmental, and that's really what I love about everybody in this group. And Morning Cuppa, the same thing. I just love it. I think I've known you all in alter lives.
So I've been banned from Morning Cuppa.
Yeah, Charlie's been bad.
They won't let me chat. I'm been blocked. Terry blocked me.
Yeah, it's just a weird glitch with Facebook. I don't know what's going on, Charlie. But you were able to do it with Christine's.
Yeah, with her iPad, fine. Yeah, it's my iPad. I don't know. And my phone. Try my phone. No, you've been blocked or whatever. You can't post it this time. So Terry's calling me in. I'm here. I can't tell you I'm here. It's like, oh.
But it'll come on 20 times that you're there, that you're watching.
Oh yeah, it'll come up on you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Linda says, "Oh, Charlie's watching." I hear people saying hello to me, and I can't say hello back. So they think I'm being rude, but anyway. That's why I had to get Christine's today. I said, "Give me an iPad. I just got to go on there." But hopefully it comes back soon. I don't know.
Charlie, Isabel says that's happened to her a few times too.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Remember
you-
Lillian said that happened to her as well before.
Yeah, it's a Facebook glitch. And
Yeah.
Kathy is sending love and hugs to all of us. She says, I miss being there on Zoom with you.
Hey.
Hi, Kat.
Exactly.
And Tammy wants to know what you did, Charlie.
I'd like to know myself.
Charlie's in timeout.
Another
Exactly. I'm in
You
timeout,
guys-
but I don't know what for.
So you guys think we did the kappa or the book club 500 years ago already in a different shape and form, in a circle sitting by each other and talking maybe?
Around the campfire.
Around the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interpretation of carvings in the cave or reading stone tablets or so.
It'd be great to find that in our regression time.
Yeah.
Be it together.
Yeah. I didn't make this up, but I had a picture this morning of, in reaction to something Terry said, of sparking it up or bringing it up a level. And I saw all of us sitting around a campfire and we all threw pine cones in to make sparks.
Ooh.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Natural fire sparkler.
Right.
Yes, I love that.
I love this conversation. I really do. It sparks so many things. There's sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Dosa says it's Facebook's algorithms. Apparently, me saying thank you was against their policy. Yes, Robert got his hand slapped too, Charlie.
I
I
guess
just opened
you
it.
do.
But
guess you-
it's only on the one thing. It's
Yeah,
not
my
Facebook.
phone.
Only Terry's the morning cuppa. Everywhere else I can type in. Everywhere.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Maybe you should come in incognito with a different name.
He did that this morning. He was Christine this morning.
I came in with my daughters, yeah,
Oh.
and said hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in Facebook jail before myself. I posted a picture of a kid, a little boy with no shirt on, covered in mud, and it said boy mom, and they said this is against our rules, you gotta go.
I thought I was going to get kicked off myself on Facebook because my husband and I got our COVID vaccines over the weekend, and I put a picture. I put a picture of two 70-year-olds jumping off of a swimming dock naked into the water.
Oh, I see that. Yeah,
I thought, we all need laughter,
Yes.
but they
And they
let
let
me
you
keep it
post
on. I just had the
Really?
rear. It just had the rear view. It was very funny, like an adult cartoon.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they haven't seen it yet, Mary Lou.
was
It's
a
not
glitch.
really. It's not really us. I just said it could be us.
Right.
Which vaccine did you get?
We got the Johnson and Johnson, and I really didn't want that one. I wanted one of the others. In my head, I thought that's the one I wanted, but my husband said, it's better. The one we got is probably better for the variances, they're saying.
Yeah.
My feeling is I just wanted to get some kind of protection for myself and the people that are around me the most, and and whatever works. We'll probably find out 10 years down the road that none of them were really very good for us. I'd rather not do it, but I'm willing to do it to be protecting others.
Yeah. Yeah, I got mine Saturday too.
You did, Charlie? Good.
Yeah.
Friday.
All right. So anything else about the book?
Got off track.
Go on
Let's
and
get back to where we are.
I'm on page 111.
one.
Well, look at you go. I love
Yeah.
that number. That's an angel number.
Right.
Yeah.
I just figured out. Yeah.
Well,
Halfway through chapter 4, I guess.
I had Alexa read it to me while I was in the car driving this weekend. I had about a 5-hour drive both ways. And so I just said, Alexa, read me the book so I can at least hear it. I couldn't read it while I was driving, but I don't even know how far I am because she's got it earmarked for me somewhere.
Oh, she's fast too.
She
The
is.
stories are so interesting. They're so interesting.
Uh-huh.
You know, and all the levels of willingness and understanding that they go into it all with, you know, is fascinating. Charlie, I think you mentioned that earlier, you know, how the one doctor went to because he needed credits, you know, and almost didn't go. His wife said, you don't have to, you
Right,
know, you can do something
exactly.
else. He
Yeah.
really got something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no accidents. And just think, we're living a life right now or a soul journey, and we're going to go on to the next and want to come back and figure out what we did now. We should leave notes somewhere,
I know.
Right.
like a time capsule.
Yeah, and there was the one I was just reading before we came on. I just a couple of pages, and there was a woman. She was afraid of water and everything, and it winds up when they went into the regression. He was a little black boy, and what they did is they held them underwater to baptize them
I read that.
before they came over here as slaves. And then when he was a teenager or something, he said something to a white woman or a white girl or something, and they chopped his head off.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
I read
So-
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, wow, you know, but you know, in this lifetime, she couldn't even put her feet in water and everything. You know, didn't even own a bathing suit or anything.
Mm.
And then right after the regression, now she's, you know, bought a
So
bathing suit and went swimming. Yeah.
it would have been interesting if the slave owners could have done a past life regression and seen themselves as a slave. They would have instantly got more empathy for how things were,
Definitely.
you know, or that would apply to any person or group that is closed-minded.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Linda.
Yeah.
I never had that thought before.
Yeah.
An
Stacy
inspired
said-
thought.
It's what?
That was an inspired thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid of lizards. Jeez.
I have another friend in Florida that's afraid of lizards, and they are everywhere in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's getting warm, and there was one on my back patio this morning. So strange. So what do you think? Maybe some of the things that we're trying to heal now, thinking it was childhood stuff. Well, some of it is, but I'm just saying, like, we try to relate it all to like childhood stuff, but it could be from here, there, and everywhere. Not just
Mhm.
not all our parents' fault.
Yeah.
Possibilities just got so endless.
Yeah.
What do I say every day? We live in a world of endless possibilities and infinite potential.
Yeah,
And we are very close to being out of time.
absolutely. Anything else to share?
This hour has flown by. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't real sure how the discussion was going to be around this book, but it's been the most interesting discussions last week and this week. And the time just flies by when we're talking about this. I think because there's so much excitement and intrigue and curiosity about the process and how that experience that we have could really help us.
Mhm.
So I love the discussions. I just love this. And Stacy, thank you for leading us today.
Yes.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Putting myself out there.
Great job.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I love each of you.
We
Love
love
you
you,
too.
Steve.
Happy to be here.
Do you want to close this out?
Yes. Want to thank everybody for being here and listening. And I wanted to just thank you all for letting me take Terry's job for the day. And we'll end it like we always do. Ready? Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Oh,
See you next week.
thank you
See you
so
next
much,
week. Bye.
Stacy.
Have a
Yay!
good